I'm feeling great, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited about the card. It's a great card. There's some fun fights on this card for Miami.
Do you ever, yeah? Do you look at that? Obviously, I'm sure you're so locked in on fight night, but do you ever consider like, oh wow, there are some other really good fights on this card and things that I'd be interested in watching myself?
Yeah, not so much on fight night, but like when
Yeah,
the card comes together as it starts to get announced throughout the weeks leading up, and while I'm in training camp, I see all these fights. I'm like, man, this is stacked. And of course, I'm gonna watch some of the prelims,
yeah.
the earlier prelims. When I get to the arena and stuff, I'll have to watch all those fights after.
Do you watch them from a locker room in the back? Do you come out and sit in the seat? What's like the normal like fight night game plan?
No, I watch it from the locker room. I'll watch the beginning prelims probably at my Airbnb before I head to the arena to the venue. But when I'm in the locker room, we have a TV set up, so you kind of wherever you're at on the bout order, you know how many fights you have, so you're kind of watching them finish. You're warming up, but you're catching glimpses of
Right.
what's going on.
You're obviously a guy who's fought in Vegas so much. You fought around the world. How about fighting in Miami? I know a lot of people excited that the card's headed to South Florida.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped up about it. That's a short flight from Louisiana, from New Orleans to Miami is a quick flight over. Also, I train here in Coconut Creek. It's
Yeah.
an hour drive, so it's beautiful.
Will
Weather's
you
great.
have a lot of fans out there? I know you've got a lot of fans everywhere, obviously, goes without saying, but will you have a lot of fans out there, especially because, yeah, it's only an hour or so from the gym?
For sure, man. For sure.
That's awesome. Talk to me about the decision to take the fight. I think a lot of people in your position might say, hey, I'm ranked so high, I'm not going to fight a guy who's ranked lower than me. Obviously, not your approach here. Well, what went into taking the fight and why ultimately did you say, hey, let's do this, let's fight?
To test myself, really, to see if I still got it. This guy's young, hungry, on a streak, finished his last five opponents. That makes me nervous. So I want to toss myself in the fire. That's where I feel like I do my best work. And those are the kind of fighters I want to fight. Guys who are leaving it all out there, showing grit. They fight for finishes. That's the kind of fight I want to be involved in.
Is it a mistake that other fighters make when they look seemingly solely at the rankings and refuse to fight anyone that is ranked lower than them? Is that a misstep?
I guess it depends what happens after that.
Right.
But really, where the division sits right now, there's nobody for me to fight at this moment. I don't want to wait for a few fights to happen. It's hey, this is the fight business.
Yeah.
Guys are put together good performances and they work their way up. Somebody gave me my shot, and now let's find out if this guy can do it.
Without specifically naming future opponents and all that, because obviously a lot of stuff like that's hard to predict. What is the game plan or what's the blueprint for you, Dustin? You've done everything in this sport. Got a fight here now at UFC 299. What do you hope for these next couple of fights and the next couple of years in your career?
I look at that fight to fight, man. I'm not even looking at the next fight, the next year. I'm looking at next weekend. Show up, be ready to perform for 25 minutes at the highest level once again, get my hand raised, and then I'll assess my career, sit down with my coaches, my family, and kind of just see what my management, see what's next. But Saturday night has to happen for any of those questions to get answered.
Is there any thought in your mind that this could possibly be it, or is that not even part of the
No,
equation?
every fight could be it. Every fight where I'm at 35 years old, 30 fight. This is my 30th fight in the UFC. Every
Wow.
fight could be it.
Could you imagine, when you go back like 10 years or whenever it was when you first came into the organization, that you would 30 fights later, a million main events and everything that you've done? Could you have imagined all this?
Nah, man, I could have never written it up this way. It's crazy. Just from joining the WEC, I didn't know I was going to be in the UFC. It was
Right.
separate organizations back then. I didn't know they were going to merge. Just the way this journey has played out, it's been beautiful, man. What a
Yeah.
ride.
To become one of the biggest stars in the whole thing, right? Not just a part of the UFC. It's incredible. I'll get you out of here on this one. You're a guy who does more for charity maybe than anybody else in the entire UFC. I know you a lot of times you'll put up your kits for auction. What do you have going on for UFC 299?
Yeah, so me and the Good Fight Foundation have been doing that since 2018.
Yeah.
This particular fight, we set a goal of $50,000 for Food Net. It's a nonprofit in South Louisiana that helps families facing food insecurities get food on the table. They give them fundamental food bags, groceries, things like that. And we want to pledge $50,000 towards them. So I'm going to auction everything off. We're doing a crowdfunding on the goodfightgroup.com. We'll keep blasting it out. all through next week. But I'm gonna auction the fights. I'm sorry, the fight shorts, the gloves, the hat, everything I walk out in. We're gonna auction that off and put all that money towards Food Net. Last year alone, they provided 35,000 bags of groceries for families around South Louisiana. So we just want to keep that growing, put food on the table, and fight the good fight, man.
That's amazing. Give the website once more if people want to donate. How's the best way for them to go out and help?
Yeah, they can check out what we got going on at thegoodfightgroup.com. And it's the Good Fight Foundation across social media. I think Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Today we actually released the goal, what we plan to do with the fight kit for this fight. So all the info will be on the website and the social medias.